Hello, my name is Joshuaporizek, and this is my informative speech on child abuse. A mother beats her 3-year-old daughter to death over potty training issues. A soccer coach sexually abuses 3 of his 10-year-old soccer players. A dad puts drugs in his infant son's bottle to stop him from crying. He later dies of drug overdose. These horrific stories are true. Consider these facts. Nearly 5 children die every day from abuse and neglect. In 2010, an estimated 1,560 children died from abuse and neglect, and 695,000 children were victims of maltreatment. Nearly 80% of reported child fatalities were a result of abuse and neglect. So what is abuse? There are 4 different kinds of abuse, which includes physical, sexual, emotional, and neglect. Physical abuse is the most commonly recognized form and involves things such as hitting, shaking, burning, pinching, and choking. Physical abuse leaves behind physical marks on the body, and they may appear different, but in the end, the result is still the same. The child is physically hurt. For example, a 9-year-old boy was punished by his mother by making him sit in a bathtub while she poured boiling water over him. He received 3rd-degree burns from this incident. Sexual abuse can occur anywhere, and anyone can be a victim of it. Sexual abuse is defined as sexual contact between an adult and anyone younger than 18 years of age, between a significantly older child and a younger child, or when someone overpowers the other person, regardless of age. 2 brothers, aged 3 and 6, were playing outside when they agreed to help the neighbor find his lost kitten. No one knew that the man was a registered sex offender. Once the man had the boys inside his apartment, he tied them up and sexually abused them. Emotional abuse is often the most difficult to identify because it doesn't cause outward signs of bodily damage. Emotional abuse happens when yelling and anger go too far, and this affects the child's self-esteem and feeling of worth. Out of the U.S. population of children who experience abuse, approximately 80% were psychologically mistreated. Neglect is the most common form of child mistreatment. This is when a child does not have adequate clothing, food, supervision, medical care, or a place to stay. Neglect can also surface when a parent does not provide enough emotional support or ignores and pays very little attention to the child. Out of the U.S. population of children who experience maltreatment or abuse, over 78 experience neglect. So what causes abuse? Abuse can happen in any family and is sometimes not directed toward the child, but the child is still affected. For example, Julia, a 3-year-old girl, watched her father shoot her mother to death, and then he turned the gun on himself. Police found Julia sleeping in between both of her dead parents. Sometimes parents mistake abuse for discipline. The father of an 11-year-old girl disciplined her by using waterboarding, which is when he held her face under running water for minutes on end. Abuse can be caused by someone who is unable to control anger, drinks too much or uses too many drugs, has a personality or mental disorder, or grows up in an abusive environment. There is a difference between abuse and discipline. Parents may punish kids to illustrate that there are consequences of unwanted behaviors, and they may take away privileges and spank children, but when this proceeds into punching and beating, it is considered abuse. So what should a child do? It is often difficult for a child who has been abused to reach out for help. They may have been threatened by their abuser, or they may feel like they are hurting a loved one. The facts do not lie. In the state of Texas alone, 4 children die from child abuse every day. 27 children die from poverty every day. 689 babies are born with inadequate parental care every day. And 13,700 children are abused and neglected. It is sad but true. The person is used to being treated that way. He or she may not know any different and think it's feeling like it's normal. When people grow up in an abusive environment, they feel as though that's how you treat others. So, in order to combat this, education is important. Teaching children in school and at home about abuse is important.